Hello folks, here's a short tutorial on how to install Git. So technically you can check, uh, if you already have Git by opening up your command prompt and just typing in Git. And so we can see the system is a new system, doesn't have Git installed. So what I do is, I just simply Googled Git for Windows and led me to this page. So I'm actually going to download this 64-bit version of this. And once that's been downloaded, let me try to install. And uh, there you go. So let's do the installation. So this particular package is going to also install, the Git. And I'm actually going to put an additional icon. And I'm also going to add, uh, a couple of features that are here. So most important thing, you have a git bash and the GUI, git GUI, two things. And so that's fine. Let's put that. And so here it also can give you, uh, you know, some basic options here, either being, how you want it to kind of integrated. And so if you have one of these options, it is good. Uh, I prefer to use Visual Studio Code, but yeah, later on, even you want to do it with Atom or other type of thing is okay. So just let's now, uh, I'm also comfortable with Vim, so I just leave it like that. Uh, yeah, so now I'm just going to go, all right, yeah, just make sure that, yeah, use this one so that it's getting added so you can actually look at all those other things. Use the bundle one, then just keep doing all the default stuff until, so Git, again, you want to do the credential manager, uh, caching, keep going, and have Git installed. Okay, so once Git is installed, so as we know, it's going to be actually installed in your PC. It's going to be up in program files, and that's your Git. And so that's where your Git executable file resides. Okay, so just in case, I'm just also going to copy it. And once the installation is done, there you go. So you can finish it off. And let me start this again one more time. Uh, and just type in to see if Git is installed. There you go. Because I selected an option for third party, or the path should be uh, included in the, the Git path should be included in your variables or the path setting. So if not, what you can also do is start up and just type in, uh, yeah, edit, system settings, go to environment variables, just make sure you have it in the path over here. Or if you go to system, go to path, and then you can see that's the two GitHubs are already in there. If you don't find one, just simply add that, right? And you should be good to go. So I think, let me see, going back to this particular thing, you have a Git. Yeah, that's the bin, but you also have a user bin. You can also see there should be other, the Git programs over there too. So I'll just leave it as it is, say okay, Git okay, and that'll be it. So everything else sounds good. So now your Git is installed, okay, and now we need to basically kind of initialize our Git, okay. So before we do that, we want to probably set up our Git, config for the first time. So what we want to do is either you can actually open this, or you can just simply go to your git bash and open up your git bash. You can see there, you open it up, and it doesn't matter what directory you are in. Uh, so just, you are in your root directory. And the first thing you probably need to do is a couple of things, before we can start to create a local repository and then upload it or sync your current PC. To do that is we are actually going to set up your or configure the Git. So the first thing you want to do is your name. Yeah. So, you know, let's go there and type in that, followed by, okay, some weird looking characters. Get rid of that. And my username, I'm going to actually show. Okay. So there you go. So type in that. Next one I have to do is set up my email. Okay. And my email, I'm going to, it's the email address I use. Can also use with quotes. Okay, so that's done. And I think then what you can actually basically do is set up the editor, what type of editor you want to use, and all those different things. And this is also another for somebody who's just starting with it. Mostly your default, uh, branches in your repository is going to be main. So you just have to just set that. All right, so once these are set, one thing is out of the way. The next thing what you have to do is type in SSH keygen, okay, in the root directory, and it's actually going to come up, putting up a public key. So that's your, we are looking random art, but what actually did happen is it just created a .ssh folder. And then in that, it basically created two files. So that's a, a public key file, and then it also did create a private key. So that basically is my public key. So what I can do is, we need to be careful in copying this, and okay, so I basically did a shift, uh, semicolon Q to get out of it. It's the VI editor. Then you go to your GitHub repository, okay? And then what we want to do is basically we want to go to this corner portion where it says the login information, go to settings, and then go to this SSH and GPG key, click on this new key, and then paste this, right? So technically, yeah, so that's the key, and you simply say add the key. So this basically becomes my PC, and that's my username, and then basically saying that, allow connections from that PC to get to this GitHub or Git repository. All right, so now I've made that. So the next thing I want to do is create a repository. So I'm actually going to create a repository over here. Go click on new, and I'm actually going to say master UAV, workshop. And so this basically, mine. So I have to say public. I would also do a README file. Just leave it. If you're using, let's say a Mac, especially, and you don't want the annoying dstore file, you can include that. But for now, just hit the repository file. We're all seems to be okay. Now, as you can see, there is a README file. I'm just going to come here and edit it here also. Workshop. This is a sample. Sorry, repository for the UAV class or workshop. Okay, so that's there, and then basically you can put it, updated at 1.5.23, and then it says to 39 p.m. Okay, I updated that. Just say okay. So that's been updated. And so now what we're going to do is come in here, go to this code, look at that SSH, and I'm actually going to copy that SSH. Okay. And once I copy that SSH, I'm going to go to a folder. So let's say I'm in the folder .ssh. Let me go out. Yeah, I'm in the probably in my documents, it looks like. Let me see where I am. Yeah, in my root folder. I'm actually going to over here create a folder, user in that. I'm probably over here. It's not in my root folder, so maybe in Wink, my username. I'm actually going to create a folder. It's going to be called UAV workspace or workshop, and go in there and then just do another new folder. And this basically is going to be my Git UAV workshop. So anything related to the GitHub repository, I'm going to actually put it in there. So going back to the bash, I'm going to go to UAV workshop, and I'm actually inside this folder. So at least I have this one repository. So just create that, and then what I do is I'm just going to clone it, right? So let me copy this guy over here one more time. I'm just going to clone it, and looks like uh, say grid clone, and okay, then come up. Okay, let's do it one more time. I did copy that. Go back here. Okay, there you go. So again, some funny looking characters. Get rid of that. So basically, it should start with git at github.com. That's my username, and that's the thing. So I'm going to actually clone this, and as I clone, it's going to say, "Are you sure you want to continue connecting?" Just say yes, and there you go. It actually has been cloned, and for now, you can see if I do an ls, that's my repository. Once I get into that repository, I should then see that's my master repository, and now I'm my main branch, right? That's my main branch. And if I go, let's say down here, look at that master repository. So that's the README file I have. So this is the README file I have. And then if I say open it up with, let's say, a notepad, there you go. So this is what I had it. Now what I'm going to do is this is basically says this is master UAV workshop. I'm going to rename this as repository. This is a sample array for the class, and then say where students will upload, or you guys will upload their, sorry, their class and class works and homeworks, right? So I just updated this. I'm saving it, Control S, close it off, and then typically, if I click on it, this is the old one, right? This is the old one, and then if I look at this, and there you go. If I open this up, and you can see this one I've modified it something here, I modified something there, so I've modified a couple of things, right? So now what I can do is once that is created, I have to come down here and let me see, go to my location over here, and I'm going to just basically do git add dot minus a. So let me add all the changes to it. So make sure I am in this, master UAV workshop thing. Oh, I've added it. I'm going to do a commit. So let's do a git commit and say I wanted to actually include something says updated readme, right? I've updated the readme, and now you can see that it says, yeah, I've done that, and one file has been changed, right? Now, all I can do is, so since, I've already set up my keygens and everything is fine, uh, I copied my uh, keygen information to the GitHub. All those have happened. And now all I have to do is do a git push because, and then by default, it's going to go to this repository. It only has one branch, which is called the main. Hit there, and then that's been uploaded, right? Everything is good. If you have multiple options, then you just basically put git push or, origin, and then you just basically give main, which will all be the same. All right, so now, and if I come back here, as you can see, if I go back, uh, it's basically saying that something happened, update readme 1 minute ago, which I just did. And now this is the same information which is in the readme file. That's the purpose of the readme file. So this is what was added. If you go and click on this, you can see previously we were just had master UAV workshop. Now it became repository. Now we have added this and so on. Now I can also do this. I can come and edit here, and then I say, when I put last update, and I put 1/5/23 at 2. You don't need to put that. I'm just putting it just to show something. I can put this and put updated again. This is online. I'm just updating this here. And I come over here, and then if I look at this, so you can see this one says last updated there. So if I come down to this file, and if I say open up with Notepad, and it still doesn't have that last update here, right? So now what I can do here is I can do a git pull, and there you go. One file was changed, and then it gets updated here. And then you click on this, and then you go to Notepad, and then you can see locally I have the last update there. So that's basically, you know, the things about the GitHub. And I hope this quick tutorial allows you to, just understand some basics of it and try to update it. So there's the other way of doing it. Instead of actually having this as a, you know, in a GUI, you can also do as, Git, and you can go to Git GUI and do pretty much the same thing. Yeah. So here you can see it says your repository, you know, this is the GUI version of it. And then you can see this is the show, that's your SSH key. Yeah, so you can actually copy this and then paste it there. So that's another way of doing it. Yes. And you go to opening of existing repository, go to that file, which is that, select the folder, and you let it to open. Yeah, so you have this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this readme file locally, and and then I'm going to say, homeworks, use this as an example to update pages. Okay, I'm going to actually go back to as pages, files, and images. Okay, so something like that. And then I'm actually going to say, okay, now it's 3:49. Just let's get ourselves a little bit ahead. And look at 3:50 p.m. And then let's just save it. So we have saved that, right? And come to our person. And if you do a rescan, there you go. It automatically picks it up and says here that this is a sample directory, blah, blah, and you have to delete that line in that particular thing. And this is what it's added, because I added the other one, and then you can see I changed that to that. So this is a GUI version of it. And now what I need to do is I need to commit this. Before I commit, I need to bring it here to stages, state changes. And this, in this message, I'll also do updated with a capital again, exclamation mark, uh, updated again. And then I will do a commit, and I need to push it. So when I push it, it's going to ask me which is my main, that's in the remote is an origin. And when I do a push, you see that it's going to do, and everything is successful. You have to close it. You're done. So this is actually, either you use this or this way, right? Both are the same. And now if I look online, so I can refresh that. There you go. So this is what I actually added, and this is the last time I updated. But you don't really need to do the update, because this is going to say when exactly it was done. And if you really look at GitHub, it actually gives you, this is the number of times I've been playing around with it. Was the initial commit, then I made it, updated the README, then I put an update README, update README, update it again. So all these changes, I've done like in the last, 15 minutes or so, been doing that. So this basically, is a quick uh, look at, doing what, putting up with GitHub. And thanks for watching.